Okay, I'm Reed Hasty. I'm a professor of behavioral science here at the University of Chicago. It's Saturday, March 8th, and I'm supposed to tell a funny joke about psychologists. But I'm a University of Chicago professor, so I'm going to tell a long, dull, academic joke just to verify my credentials. Recently, a psychologist was hit by a bus on 55th Street, and she died, and she went up to heaven, and she met St. Peter, and St. Peter looked at her, and he said, "Well, you have to make a choice. Do you want to go to heaven or hell? You've been good, you've got a strong resume, excellent publications, so you get your choice." And she said, "Oh, that's easy. I'd like to go to heaven. I'm sure of it. Everybody knows that. And I'm a professional academic, so I'll choose heaven." And St. Peter said, "Well, we have some rules. You have to visit heaven, and you have to visit hell, and then you make an informed choice. So let's start with heaven, and you spend a day in heaven." So she went to heaven. Peter opened the gate, and she looked around. There were many happy angels, a few former colleagues, and playing music, sitting on clouds, wearing togas, just exactly as we might imagine it. The day was up, and she went back to St. Peter, and he said, "Fine, you've seen heaven, now you need to see the alternative." And he put her on an elevator, and he hit the bottom button, and she went down, 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 down. And the door opened. She stepped out into a beautiful academic setting. It looked like the University of Chicago, only much nicer. And immediately she was greeted by her friends, many of whom were waiting, and colleagues from all over the world. They greeted her effusively. They told her how much they admired her research. They said that they were looking forward to the seminar she was going to present, and so she had just a wonderful day. Later in the day, they took her to a beautiful building that looked sort of like Rosenwald Hall, only much cleaner, and they showed her a fabulous laboratory with her name on the door, and everything she could possibly have imagined. And her seminar was very well received. There were a lot of sharp questions, but she handled them beautifully, and then she went off to a wonderful lounge, a little bit like the Divinity School lounge, only, again, much nicer. They drank sherry, and she met the devil. He was a theoretician, but they had an excellent evening talking about neuroscience and evolutionary psychology. They joked about that, and it was just a wonderful day. And the devil said, "Well, we're sorry to see you leave." Her friends embraced her, and she got back on the elevator and went back up. St. Peter was waiting, and he said, "Well, you've now been informed about both alternatives. What do you choose?" And the psychologist said, "Well, I'm surprised, but I rather liked hell. Didn't expect that, but that's, I guess, what I'll choose." And so St. Peter put her back on the elevator, hit the button. She went down, 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 and the doors opened. And there was a barren wasteland. Her friends were dressed in rags, and they looked at her and sneered, and made a few nasty jokes about her talk, and went back to scratching in the dirt, looking for any kind of refuse, which they explained they were going to eat for dinner. The devil met her and said, "Well, welcome to hell." And she said, What happened? I was here just a few hours ago, and it wasn't like this at all." And the devil said, "Well, when you visited before, we were recruiting you, but now you're a faculty member."